Greetings, traders, and thank you for joining with me today for my Boomerang Day Trader Ultra presentation. This is a new configuration that I've done for Boomerang Day Trader, which is already very accurate and precise. It's attracted hedge fund managers to use it. We have some hedge fund managers that are ex-hedge fund and current that are in our trading room. We have all kinds of wonderful new traders and experienced traders that have purchased Boomerang and used it and had very, very wonderful results. It's helped us soar to the top of Ninja's day trading products. We're probably number one, but they just don't like me to tell you that, which I can understand why. But we are in the top, and we've been there for ever since we started 3 years ago. Just tremendous product. And what I've done is taken Boomerang Day Trader, and I've just tweaked it to a point where I feel it's going to be even more efficient for you, easier to trade with, and more efficient. And this isn't just me changing a few things. This is me trading for over a year, testing, trading some more, testing, saying I want to tweak this a little bit more, let me tweak this a little bit more. The changes may appear simple, but when you're actually using them on the battlefield there in the live action, and if you don't think it's a battlefield, you must not have been trading today, because what a wild whipsaw, unbelievable thing. We got the Dow down 237 as I speak. It was down as much as 260 points, getting hammered. We had 10 trades today, a little bit lighter than usual. I was trying to take it even. We had 10 trades and 8 winners. So it's a good day, and that's using Boomerang Ultra here. So let's get on with it here. I'm going to spend about the next half an hour to 40 minutes going over the details for you, and then we'll have a question-answer period. But I just want to get this so you can see everything. First of all, here's the Boomerang Day Trader Ultra. Consists of a new indicator I've added in here called a Cobra, which is a bias line that runs through the trade channel. It works as a trailing stop, and it works as a pre-front-running cursor for a new channel opening on Boomerang. It'll alert you when a new channel is going to open, and it'll get you in the first ideal pullback to the signal line right away. You won't have to worry about the market taking off. Sometimes we're still going to get the fat channel configurations when the market just takes off like a rocket ship in one direction, but in most cases the Cobra will allow you to catch those trades before with an earlier notice. Next thing I've done is I've had the trade channel known as the red line. You've heard of that. That's the slow rim of the trade channel, is now colored for a bias change. If you just took this one configuration alone and added it to Boomerang and took off the other things I'm going to show you today, it would change the face of your trading, because you'll know exactly when that trade channel has changed. It's in a sell channel, for example, but you'll know exactly when the bias changes to bearish. You get on a yellow line, tap on the signal line there, and you're going to have a really solid trade. The dynamic trend bands, all of our favorites, unbelievable. When I introduced those back in, it was December of this year, it revolutionized Boomerang. Well, since that time, it's been about 8-9 months. During that period, while I was trading with her and everything, I thought I can make these better and more precision and catch more of the surges. I'm going to show you that in a minute. New reconfigured dynamic trend bands with more precision. And the good old orange line, remember the orange line, always very effective. Well, what I've done now is I've through many, many days and weeks of experimenting and then retesting and retesting again using for actual trading, I've retweaked what was called the orange line and created what I call a bias support resistant level or lines. It consists of 2 lines, which I'll show you in a minute. You're going to love that. These are the 4 changes. Like I said, they didn't come easy. They were done through hard work, hard research, and now I've got them for you today. So let's get started here, and I'll sure look forward to it. So first of all, here, what I've done in this one chart, I got 2 charts I'm going to show you. This one has now, what you'll find too, you may end up wanting to create 2 charts with the different things, because sometimes, you know, if we have the dynamic trend bands on here, that's a lot of lines on there. But one way to do that, and I'll show you this later, is that you could make these are the support and resistance reversal bias lines here. You could always make this orange line a little bit smaller. Anyway, let me first, before I even get into that, let me go right here to the trade channel. First of all, this new line running through here is called the Cobra. I've affectionately called it the Cobra. In my many years of travel throughout the Far East and stuff, I ran into a lot of Cobras, and they're really cool because if you leave them alone, they just kind of lay in the sun and have a good time and everything. They don't necessarily bite you, but if they feel fear from you, or you approach them too quickly, or if you accidentally step on them, heaven forbid, you might have a problem. Anyway, I like cobras. Nice animal, beautiful animal, but can be very deadly if you're not careful. Similarly, our cobra has a very deadly effect in calling the bias of the market and allowing you to get into the trade channels with precision. Now, just to give you an example, I'm not even sure exactly what day this is. It doesn't really matter because I'm not going to go over the details of each chart in terms of what day it is, but just the configurations of the Cobra. We're just looking at the Cobra right now. For right now, please ignore these two white lines. They'll change colors as I move the chart, and I'll get into those in a minute. Here we have our regular channel opening here, a buy channel. You see that? You're all familiar with that if you're familiar with Boomerang. If Boomerang's new to you, then this will be an interesting review. You can also watch more video tutorials we have on my blog at boomerangtrader.com. Well, normally what we would have, we'd watch for the white line to cross the dynamic trend band. This white line is the rim of the trade channel, and this is the slow line. Well, notice now, here's the slow line coming out. Notice how it changes colors now. I've organized it to change color very tightly in line with the bias of the trade channel. So alone, even without the Cobra, if you see this bias line change color, you see a pullback signal line, you take the trade. Now notice the bias line runs all the way up until the channel starts to exhaust and the price are getting ready to shift over here. Now one thing I'd like you to know in relation to the Cobra is notice that here the Cobra is changing colors prior to the trade channel signal. Now that the Cobra's changed, you're on high alert for a new trade channel. You're on alert for the new bias shift. You see the trade channel open and the Cobra, actually you can see it cross over the rim of the outside trade channel, formerly known as the red line, which is now turned red too in line with the bias, and there goes the prices. Now we did not get a pullback to the signal line until down here, but that's not a concern right now. I'm just trying to show you the indicators. So notice too how as the prices move down, the Cobra moves in tighter on the prices, forming what could be potentially used as a trailing stop if you're trying to catch a larger trade, a runner. Here there's a little reverse left or a strong move to the downside, and then back on this side again. Now notice here the red line, the rim of the trade channel, never changed color to green. The Cobra slightly changed color on this jam to the upside, but immediately slipped back to the red side, matching the red rim of the trade channel, and down goes the prices. Practically those two matching says down goes the prices. You see that? Now let's go to a new channel where we get a buy setup. So the channel's dissipating, it's moving lower. Notice the trailing stop. If you somehow had gotten short up here when you saw these colors match, notice how it holds within for like a trailing stop. Right here it got tapped. You might have held that a little longer. You might have got out there, but still a very nice trade. And as they move lower and the channels cross over, notice how it, once again, you get a coloring of the Cobra first. The trade channel opens. The Cobra crosses up into, right here is where the new buy channel changes colors. So you've got a Cobra confirmation, a new channel, and you've got these three pullbacks to the signal line with the Cobra already changing green. So had this, you had gotten a simultaneous new channel and tap on the signal line, you could take it with confidence knowing that the Cobra had already changed colors. If you want a little more confirm, just wait for the change of the color of the bias of the trade channel, and you get the pullback signal line with double green color here, and up they go. And once again, rather than the what was known as a red line, you've got a tighter trailing stop going here in terms of the market going up all the way here, and it quickly starts moving up, and then right up in here as you see where the things change again. So right away I'm sure you can see the huge advantage of the crossover of the Cobra, of the what was known as the red line here, the slow line of the trade channel, and a confirmation to get in as early as possible on these pullbacks to the signal line. the market peaks up here, and once again, notice Cobra changes color just before the channel changes, and you have the usual, after a big huge move, you have a little bit of wiggle room going on. But once again, notice how the rim of the trade channel, the way I've set the bias readings, it never change color. You got a little slight Cobra change right here, but it hung on the red as prices pull down. So even if you saw this little blip and you see them both hanging on the red with the channel changing again, you get that downside bias going. And again, as all markets do, this is late in the session, so it doesn't matter. But I wanted you to see how wonderful that is for those changes. Let's find another smooth kind of trading day we can track here. Same thing. I mean, this is pre-market, but color shifts on the Cobra well prior to the trade channel, crosses over the rim of the, I'll just call it the rim of the trade channel. Bias color changes here, so now you have both red here, allows you, if you're going to just go ahead and hit them at the market. Now these dots in the sig line here are red. I've changed it to default yellow. When you get the Ultra Boomerang, you'll see these dots will be yellow. They'll stand out a lot more. But for now, on this chart, I won't bother to change them. They're these red color. But you see they both matching colors here. Pullback sig line. You got that confirmed to take them down lower here. Here's a place where the bias is flipping. So obviously, after a big, strong move like this, you want to be a little cautious to see where they're going next. You just keep an eye out for everything. You watch. And then again, we'll have the dynamic trend bands on here, which will help. Plus, and I'll get in that in a second here. So again, new channel opens. There's a dot right here in the sig line with both of the channel and the Cobra matching colors. You could have got in nice and early there. There's another one there. So you're getting in real early with the color confirmations on the Cobra and the rim of the trade channel for a nice, strong downside move. See how that works? Very simple. I'll show you some more examples here. Advance warning on the color change in the Cobra. New trade channel, pullback sig line with matching channel, rim matching, along with Cobra crossing, and up they go. Makes it so much easier to catch these trades. Now notice I haven't even brought up the dynamic trend bands in terms of using that for a bias to enter the trades. You'll see that in a minute, and you'll really like it. Now, again, same thing. Notice here, this rim of the trade channel never even changed the green color. It stayed green. It hung green. I've designed it that way to be very strong and keeping that bias holding. Slight blip in the Cobra, which is a little more sensitive, obviously. Green, another little dip, and then they're both green again. New channel, pullback sig line with both of these matching. Up they go. Now, the orange line, what was formerly known as the orange line, now known as the bias support and resistance. What I'd like you to do is pay attention. We'll go over here. Again, it's this is where the market opened. This is a good spot here. The dashed line is a faster version of the thicker white line. This is really a reconfigured orange line using H lines here. Very fast, much better than the orange line, and I'll show you why in a second. Now notice right as the prices come up from under here and they tap the white line, which is the downside move or the bearish one. The orange is for up, and these colors can be changed however you want them. Notice how the white line, watch this, when I advance it by one candle here, 1, 2, notice that as prices travel up through this line, the orange, or travel through the white, the dashed line first and then the white line, the color changes to orange, telling you the bias is changing to the upside for now. Then both of them turn orange, telling you that your bias is on the bullish side. Now, by this time, you would have probably already gotten into a boomerang trade here with both of the lines touching and also the price trading up above the two touching lines. And so now you're watching to see if that bias is going to continue. And as it does, and the orange lines spread out a little bit, it starts telling you, okay, you're moving ahead here, but just be on caution alert as those spread out a little bit. And then there's a reversal, and I'm just going candle by candle. You see it's still orange, still bullish, because the price have held the channel here of the orange Orange being the bullish color, white being the downside color. I don't know where this is going. They're going higher. Now watch as, see how they start tightening up on the price. Now here's, notice the thin dash line. They travel through that, it changes to white. Prices start moving under the orange line, but they continue higher. They both hold on the orange side, telling you to stay on that bias. White line, white dash line again up here. Notice that. And then prices start moving back up again, so they both turn orange again. Now they're both white. Now they both turn white as the prices start to move under that key bias line. Now they're just flipping around, so they turn back to white again, or orange. That's okay. That's part of trading. And now they're heading up again and spreading out. Look at how the spread goes on the two lines. And you notice the Cobra changes colors. Price moved down. As soon as that price dipped under this and changed down, this changed to white, telling you alert, bias shift is coming. Now both have turned white here as both have comfortably moved under the orange line. Now turning white, and we're going to look for a lower bias here. See, now again, once they come up here again, you may have one turning orange, one turning white, but it's telling you that just be cautious. The market may be shifting back to bullish again. You thought it was going to start really getting bearish, but a lot of times I'll do that too. I'll think, okay, here we go down on the bearish side, but they'll come back up, and the price will flip up, and I'll see my lines change that I did, because I've been trading with these for quite some time, and all of a sudden I'm going, nope, they still appear to want to go higher. Let's see what happens. Then you get to the point where you go, okay, now the bias is just flipping, and that's just part of trading. That's easy to figure out. And now they're both white, and now they're taken off to the downside. And again, all you have to do is correlate it with the Cobra, and you'll know exactly what's going on. So, and then here again, bias shift right here as prices cross over this line. It changes orange. This is still white. And as prices move up, they both turn orange, and up you go. And as these fatten out, you'll know where a peak is, for example, here. Notice when prices widen out, these widen out too, and it kind of gives you an early warning. Watch out. Maybe we'll get a pullback, maybe not. Nope, they're spreading up further, but as the prices go up further, they start tightening up. That's a sign to take some profit on the trade. If you're holding, this is if you're holding for a runner or something. And same thing, they keep going up. Look at that. Notice how the orange line just hang tough until, this is one bullish market on that day, wasn't it? Look at that. See, they just hang orange. Now, finally, we get that bias shift, trade under the orange line. We're coming into the close here, and they stay bullish. Now they're turning bearish, and down they go. See, so these are dynamic moving lines. I can scroll back over. I'll just do this for you real quick. Of course, when you have this boomerang, you'll see it for yourself. See, they're just constantly tracking the bias of the market with the thin line, and in whenever prices, it's a key line in the sand, as I call it, price. When prices jump, if they're down here, and say for example you're down here and it's bearish, you go, okay, we're watching for prices to move about 405.5 and a quarter here on NAS. That's where we're going to get a bias shift. So all of a sudden prices jump up there, and you know that everything turns orange and they shoot up higher. You've got your warnings here with the white line. You've got your warnings here, or they're orange over here. Got to get them on the right side of the chart here. You got your Cobra changing, new line. You got your first bias warning light. You said, hey, this is going to work. You say you already got long here. Took a chance. You got longs, everything was green, and now you see this changed orange. You see this is white. You go, okay, we need to get this thing moving higher. They start shooting up higher, and your next candle changes both of them to orange, and already they're shooting higher. By then you're out of the trade. You had a nice trade at 54 even, and they slammed them all the way up to 61. So, again, just as a quick review, and then I'll move on to the dynamic trend bands. I've just covered the Cobra, the channel, the trade channel, the red line or the rim of the trade channel now colored for bias, which is very sensitive. It's sensitive, but very tight. It hangs onto a trade that's in the bias of the channel. And then we combine that with the Cobra, and you're getting some really powerful bias confirmations and also getting a trailing stop line that you can use. Okay? Makes sense? So that's the review of this here. Now I'm going to bring in a new chart, and what I'm going to do is show you the newly configured dynamic trend bands, which have more precision than the previous ones. Let me take this one out. Okay, so here are the new dynamic trend bands. Now, the main features of the new dynamic trend bands, the two real key things that those of you who've been using Boomerang are going to love and recognize are this. These are the real key features. Quicker matching dynamic trend bands to verify trend direction, and stronger, more accurate surge on the crossovers. What this eliminates, essentially, is the need for the white line to cross the rim of dynamic trend band number 2. You no longer need that. You're just looking for the price to cross the dynamic trend band number 2. And I'll show you in a minute. In some cases, you can use, or I would say in most cases, you can also use the Cobra to match up with the dynamic trend, which makes a dynamic trio. It's just really powerful. But first of all, what I'd like to show you is the surge effect of the new dynamic trend bands and the matching color bias. Okay, that's the primarily really excellent thing that it brings to the table, the new configuration. Let me spread this out a little more so we have plenty of room to see it. Okay, now I'm going to go over a bunch of charts here real quick so you can see. All I'm going to show you is the crossover and the surge. Now it's running, the crossovers and the surges are running almost 80% accuracy. What does that tell you? That when you get a crossover, that 80% of the time approximately, you're going to get a surge in price? That's pretty darn good information to have, because right down here when they cross, all you see is this, and maybe they're going slowly here, moving up, a little down. But when it tells you that 80% of the time when you get a crossover, you're going to get a surge, that's pretty good. Like here's a crossover, but notice how quickly as the prices moved up, the dynamic trend bands are right again matching. But look, as the prices, they had already crossed, but then when the colors started matching, you get a powerful surge in that direction. Dynamic trend bands crossing here, surge to the upside. That continues as the dynamic trend bands continue to match color. Now look how much quickly compared to the other dynamic trend bands, which were fantastic and still are fantastic and still highly wonderful for using for trading. But look at how quickly things tighten up when the end of the move comes in here and they cross over, and look what happens. Prices just fall off the wagon. I didn't handpick these charts. I don't even know what day this is. I just put 20 days on there and pushed it to the back of that area, and I'm just going forward. Look at that. Huge surge to the downside. And when prices cross over dynamic trend band number 1, that's when your warning comes in. Now look at here, too. This is a heavy, strong, powerful move, and you know how hard those can be to catch. Well, what do you look for this time? Watch for the Cobra to cross over dynamic trend band number 2 to really end that move on the downside, at least temporarily, and change color. And now you got a solid reading. You got a solid bias, a solid gravity shift, as I often call it, a shift in gravity where the prices are now pulling up higher. You see that? I'm trying to wrap up this webinar here in about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll go to all your questions and answers. A crossover here, there's a minor surge, but sometimes things change. However, and again, there's a huge fat channel. We know what those are. That's when you get 3 to 4 spike candles just screaming in one direction, taken out, creating what I call a wide or a fat channel. Do not take the trades at the top of the fat channel. Even though the dynamic trend band's across, you got to wait. That's just one of the normal rules of Boomerang. But look what happened. This is so important. Look how quickly when they did change and a new sell channel opened up, you had the confirmation here of the Cobra on the sell side. And we also had a bias accelerator alert come in, but you had a Cobra change telling you it's okay. The channel would have changed red here, I know. But look at that. Immediately, you have the dynamic trend bands. Rather than waiting for quite some time before they match, they're immediately matching again. See what I mean? A lot more dynamic. These are the double dynamic trend bands. They're more dynamic than the previous ones because look how quickly you have the matching color change telling you to do what? Get on that short side. So there, if you missed all this, it happened so quick. I know how fast these things are. Today was just so fast. Out of those 10 trades, I took the 8 that were winning. I mean, we were all marveling in the room. It's like, my God, it's like lightning speed. You get in that trade, and a minute and a half later, boom, you're filled. It was just anyway. But look though, the DTBs change color. You're short, and down they go. Now you've got also again. Notice how, as a double confirmation, you have the Cobra crossing the dynamic trend band number 1, forming its own little channel, and down they go. Then here's the Cobra front running the crossover a little bit here on the downside, and again, a little bit of a surge, but after a big, strong move like this, you can't always expect a fully surge to move. Same thing here. This was a downside day. They just wouldn't let them go. Look at this. Yes, there was a crossover, but as soon as that price didn't cooperate in the upside and the DTB number 2 never changed color, immediately dynamic trend band in the new configuration, ultra dynamic trend bands, is back matching color here, telling you to go ahead and sell that tap on the signal line there. See that? Boom. Hey, they turned yellow. Oh, that's right. Different chart. On this one, I got them yellow color. They stand out so much better. And their default on the ultra dynamic trend bands or ultra Boomerang, they're all default yellow colored. They'll stand out really good. Look at that. So right away, this is a key feature. Yes, we had a crossover to the upside, but it immediately signaled with the matching color, nope, forget it, go the other way. And then when they crossed over here with matching colors, we've got a massive surge to the downside. Let's check it out again. See, this was all day this was kind of happening because the market was really bearish, but they kept trying to recover. Same thing here. Cobra crosses dynamic trend band number 2, creates the center of gravity shift to the upside, but the market doesn't like it. They want to move lower again. So what do you look for? Notice as soon as they got up here and they spiked down, the Cobra changes back to red. The Cobra is alone worth 10 times the cost of Boomerang just to have this within this configuration. It's unbelievable. Down they go. Rim of the channel would have changed to red by now. I know that from looking at this. Pull back to the signal line. Fast smash to the downside as the dynamic trend bands match up in color right about on this candle. You know, is a fast, heavy move, but they immediately match up back on the sell side for a further downside move. They've already crossed over, right? They matched colors as they went down further, but as soon as that market's ready to turn up again, we got dynamic trend band number 2 turning blue in its new ultra configuration, matching them up here, and up they go. So the surge completes itself on that crossover to the upside. And here, I'm giving you examples of where the market's a little bit trickier. I'm just going through these. I have no idea what day these are. Same thing here. Now notice, they ramped up, but that market wants to come back down again. First thing you notice on this candle alone, the Cobra is crossing over DTB number 1 saying, hey, warning, watch out. Market doesn't like the air up here. New sell channel comes in. Cobra's matching the dynamic or the rim of the trade channel. Boom, sell signal, down they go. And then here again, the Cobra is matching, but the prices are swooshing back up again. And that happens, trust me. Yow. Get a lot of that action. This is coming in the close, but the point is, you can see the value of the new DTBs. Just amazing. Let's find some smoother days here during the regular market hours. Let's try this next day, see what happens. I don't know what's going to be on here, but let's look and see. Okay, here's the opening, and you're watching the opening, and you're going, what are we doing? We got a buy channel here, but they're jerking around. Okay, here's the opening. It's still not quite together. Things are still blinking a little bit of whipsaw. That's why usually it's best to mark the first 5 minutes of the opening range with white lines here. I do it every day in the room. Mark the high and the low, and that way you can see breakout above the high of the opening range, breakdown below the low. It's an important bias reading that takes 2 seconds to set up. So here they go. The Cobra's crossing dynamic trend band number 1. That's telling you, first of all, that the bias is bullish and it's trying to hang up there. The color changes here on dynamic trend band number 1. Cobra crosses dynamic trend band number 2. They match colors and the price goes up. Same thing. It's like a front runner for a possible crossover of the DTBs. It changed bias, changed colors, channel changes. This is all fast market action. So it was just not creating much an opportunity. However, when the DTBs match color, you know the rule. Take that trade to the signal to pull line no matter what. You got 3 matching red colors here. The rim of the trade channel, the Cobra, which is front running everything, and now the DTBs match, and they're crossing over and you get a mini surge to the downside. This is just whipsaw. This market was just whipsawing that day, out of control. That's okay. We're getting a lot of that lately, and that's because the new Rule 457 the CME put out 2 weeks ago. I was celebrating like anything. I was so happy. No more rigging. It actually is against the law for even the central banks to rig the markets. Yeah, right. But, hey, the rule's there, and it even mentions central banks, and it gets rid of all the high-speed frequency trader tactics of spoofing and rigging up the market with thousands of contracts. It's gone. We're going to get natural price flow now, and I'm seeing it in the markets after 2 weeks of watching the trade. I'm pretty impressed. Wow, real markets again. What a concept. Dynamic trend bands have crossed here, and there's a counter surge. However, immediately, look how quickly they're changing colors and matching. Before, we had to wait quite some time before they'd match up. Color bands match, take the signal line, boom, down they go. Crossover, surge. They hold here, they cross over here, a little bit of a surge to the downside as they cross right here. On the downside, again, still whipsaw market here. Crossover, move to the upside here. Crossover to the downside. You know, the surge had already started occurring, but the market wants to go higher. So as soon as prices start moving up, the dynamic trend bands are right on top of it, changing and matching colors. You buy that pullback, the signal line, along with the Cobra and the rim of the trade channel turning green. You got a solid, rock-solid confirmation on the upside. Surging higher, holding higher. The DTBs, we're just looking at the dynamic trend bands now. They're holding higher. I've kept the bias line in here, and I removed the thin one just so we wouldn't have too many lines on here. That's all that is. Notice it's changing white. That's just because I took the thin one out just so we wouldn't have too many lines here. Look at that, though. Dynamic trend bands up, 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 peaking and crossing, changing color with the Cobra crossing over here in dynamic trend band number 2. Crossover and move to the downside. With all the dynamic trend bands matching, tells you stay in it. Sometimes you get it a little wide channel. You got to know that that's generally going to be a sign of a bottoming or topping action. They push a little further, and you see the crossover color changes. And here they go again. They surge upwards. Cross over here, surge to the downside. The main point, like I said, is the surges on the crossovers are running about 80% in that direction. And if they don't, they quickly go back and match color so you can take a trade on that side. Let me just go over a bunch of charts and we'll finish up your surge. Crossover surge. They try to cross the upside, not happening. They quickly match colors again. Bam, you're back on the downside again. They crossed over, but now they change colors on the upside, and the market starts moving up. Widens out, fat channel, gets a little choppy, some resistance. Same thing. You get a crossover, but as soon as those prices reverse, you're back on the matching. So all you're doing is trading the matching dynamic trend bands, and it's beautiful. Crossover, surge to the downside, continuation, pull back to dynamic trend band number 2, maybe a little beyond to the Bollinger Band, and back down they go with the matching colors. Notice, colors matching, pull back the signal line, down they go. Keeps you constantly on the right side of the market. Matching dynamic trend bands, pull back the signal line, along with matching Cobra, down they go. It's just extra stuff I've tested out for over a year in the live markets, researching on the weekends, running the sim, running the live markets again during the week. testing and more testing. Cobra crossing over a new buy line bias. A little bit flippy here right when they hit the crossover. Exactly when they hit the crossover, surge to the upside. Minute the prices drop, they start matching the color bands up again. You've already got the Cobra crossing the dynamic trend band number 1. Early warning sign. Down they go. Crossover, move to the upside, etc. Let's do some more. Crossover, surge to the upside, huge surge to the upside. DTBs widen out, fatten out a little bit here. Normal sign of exhaustion. They go back in again. Crossover, huge surge to the downside that lasts all the way with matching DTBs, all the way down to the very bottom of the move. Even though it was a choppy, insane whipsaw move, they stayed true in color all the way to the bottom where they started blinking a little bit of blue here. Now they're matching. After the crossover, now the DTBs are matching, and they surge to the upside. Same thing, crossover, reflex reaction, whipsaw reaction. They match colors again, and you're back on the downside. Even here on this color match, new trade channel, oddly, and it's just because of the precision, there's a new trade channel, and the colors are matching. Pull back the sig line, 32 quarter, runs 35 quarter, gives you that 3 points. This was not a really solid recommended buy trade, but it panned out simply on the base of the new ultra dynamic trend bands matching color. Colors match again with them crossing over. We're looking for a surge. Well, there was a counter one, but the colors match immediately. When they match, pull back to the sig line here, here, and here, and a surge to the downside. Crossover, a surge to the upside, faltering here in price, an early warning sign from the Cobra crossing DTB number 1, both changing red. Its prices roll lower. There is a pullback to signal line. As it's pulling back to the signal line, you have the Cobra crossing the DTB number 1 and the new DTB number 2, the Ultra DTB number 2, changing color right away, confirming what? Selling to the downside and a possible surge. Sure enough, huge surge. Same thing. They cross over here, but both matching color, telling you don't get long yet. Just wait, because they're so tight now and they're so enhanced that you don't have to try to second guess them. They match colors. You get a new trade signal line or a trade channel, pullback signal line, and a surge higher as they match colors. The minute that color match comes, what happens? They surge higher. That's why I designed them, to let you know that in advance. Same thing. Market tightens up. Now look at here. Look at the Cobra starting to cross over DTB number 1. Yeah, they're all still green and the price are moving up, but it's telling you, hey, buddy, I'm getting ready to roll over to the downside. Turns red here. The candle turns red. And we get a trade signal line or a trade channel opening onto the downside. DTB number 1 is red color. Cobra crosses DTB number 2. Pull back the signal line. It's enough when you see the prices on the same side of DTB and the matching Cobra DTB number 1, take the trade. It'll help you the second guessing. A lot of times the white rim of the trade channel, that'll still come into play, but a lot of times it was a little bit too late in the trade to get us in on time. Still worked beautiful. You have a lot of winning trades, but this is even better. I've made it better. What happens right here? That's right. Dynamic trend bands cross. What happens? Kablam to the downside. Huge smash. What happens here? Dynamic trend bands cross. Right here. What happens? Huge run up to the upside. What happens here? The dynamic trend bands cross. From this level, immediate smash down, some consolidation whipsaw, further smash down. They come here. You got the Cobra crossing and still matching, but the minute that Cobra changes, it front runs the DTB number 1 a little bit. Prices are now over dynamic trend band number 2. You don't need the white line. It's still there, but you just watch for prices to run up or tap. At that new signal line, everything here is matching except for dynamic trend band number 2, which quickly catches up here. And what happens when they cross? They surge higher again. Let's do some more, and then I'll end the seminar here. I just want to make sure you understand this fully, how valuable this is. Faster matching dynamic trend bands here, alerting you to take these signals. You got your confirmation. You got your Cobra here changing color. You got the rim of the trade channel changing color. Everything's red. You sell the pullback to the signal line. Down they go. What happens here? The dynamic trend bands cross, a huge surge to the downside. May not seem like it, but when you're in the trading action and they're hovering here and they go 17 quarter, 4 to 17 quarter, and you see them cross, you go, wow, I better hold short. Yeah, you better, because you just dropped 5 handles down lower. It's a good deal. So then they, the usual wiffle waffle. It's the whipsaw, huge whipsaw here. This is pre-market anyway. I'm just showing you they still work in pre-market, same exact way. So here's the market opening, right? Market just opens. Prices start pushing up higher. What do you see here? You see that the Cobra has crossed the dynamic trend band number 2, changed green. You get a new buy channel. You've got dynamic trend band trading here. You see the Cobra has crossed number 2. Of course, it's crossed number 1. Now, here's the crossover here and a surge to the upside. Ends up being a huge continuous surge to the upside, and nothing changes until you see the dynamic or the Cobra crossing under the dynamic trend band number 2, telling you the center of gravity shifted a little. So a lot of times when this happens, they'll pull back, but you got to sell into bounces up here is what you can do. Here's the crossover, and if you sold into this bounce up here, you can see they swoosh to the downside, and same thing once again, a crossover here shoots them up higher. Here's another crossover here, hard move to the downside, a reflex to the dynamic trend band number 2 in the space of the DTB2, and use the Bollinger Band as your stop, because they're all matching up here, and then all of a sudden rematch of colors, or just wait for the color rematch. Pullback signal line, hard smash to the downside, crossover, surge. See, when you're down here, you have no idea where the price is going. You're holding on if you're long, going, oh boy, let's hope they go. Now you see the crossover and you go, man, 80% accurate. I better hold for a surge. Sure enough. Takes it all the way up here until they cross again. Now what happens once again, this thing still wants to climb higher, and we see this happening a lot. It's really bullish. All the higher time frames are bullish. Everything's looking good, and the advanced decline line is powerful. Well, look at how quickly, when there's a counter buy channel coming in, of course you got the Cobra verifying that, but look how quickly the DTBs match up again and telling you, go ahead and get long again, and up they go. Same thing. This is a third level. It's a powerful up day. Same thing. Dynamic trend bands are crossing. Now they're matching color, and it still ends up, although it's not really a very good trade, it still ended up giving you a 3-point move lower on NASDAQ, but then the colors match up again. The prices surge. You better get long. And if you saw the Cobra here giving the advance warning, get out of that short trade, changing to green, new buy channel here, you might have even caught this pullback right down here, the signal line. Otherwise, you catch this one with everything matching, every single element matching. Green on the rim of the trade channel, green Cobra, green DTBs. The prices move higher, and then they cross over again. And what happens? Surge to the upside. Amazing. So that's a lot of hard work for me putting this into it. But same thing again, a relentless bullish market that won't let go. Choppily tries to pull back, and sure enough, you get the new trade channel opening, the matching rim of the trade channel, Cobra, dynamic trend bands are back to matching. You buy that pullback, and there they go again. And they surge even further. Crossover, usual whipsaw. Now this is very close to the close here, but sure enough, they crossed over, and a big sell-off into the close. Anyway, I've gone a little bit further than I want. Once you own Boomerang Ultra, you'll be able to go through all these charts yourself, trade with it live. You'll be very, very happy. You'll see how well it works with the new market situation and everything, and I'm sure you'll be quite happy. Now, we're offering a special on this It's still the same price. Ultra Boomerang is still $11.95. I'm not changing the pricing or anything, just adding it to make it more attractive, more ultra. If you own Boomerang already, email me at mohan@daytradersaction. You should know my email by now, so I can make you tell you what you have to do. Special offer to add this to your current Boomerang. Just a low cost for all my research and time, and we got licensing, and the technicians, you know, are $300 an hour technicians. It costs something to have them relicense and redo everything. Just so minor cost. Email me at mohan@daytradersaction, and I'll give you all the information on that. Just amazing what we've done here, and you can see here you're going to be able to catch a lot of these moves with the front running of the Cobra, letting you get in on these trades and not miss them, not waiting for necessarily the color changes to match or the rim of the trade channel necessarily to have to trade under there. Everything's going to be a lot easier. You're going to see the DTB, number one, flatten out, or number two, flatten out quicker. The colors matching, telling you get on that side. You'll see what happens. You'll love it. So those are the changes that we've made. They're very exciting. They work really well, and I'm sure you'll be glad to see them then. Another crossover here. They just keep going, don't they? Good old Boomerang still works even better than ever now. So with that in mind, I really wanted to thank you for joining us on this demonstration here today of the dynamic trend bands, and thank you very much.